Elizabeth Gilbert, brilliant author, speaker, has a Substack that she's been leading about letters from love. And she gives people a very similar to what I talked about, but it's from the voice of love, of self-love. And she gives examples on her site, tells you how to do it. I think it's a pretty great practice to have. You don't have to do it every day, once a week or even once a month, but I see a lot of comments about how important this is for your physical health, your emotional health. And, when we're out here, in the UX world looking for work, like these are some of the things that tend to fall off. First, right? Like we take care of ourselves last sometimes when we're trying to take care of ourselves with finding a job. But that's where I say we are not a work-life balance, because if you're ignoring all those other things, then you're really focused on the goal, not the process. And there's a time and a place to really, really go for those things. And, I've certainly had days where I'm like, okay, I just got to focus on this. But if I find myself doing that for weeks and months, I have to take another look.
You're in the wrong spot. Real quick, I just have a super quick question. In your experience with some of your coaching work as well, we're talking a little bit about maybe being on the job search in particular, and having some of these feelings, and that is like a mountain to climb. But I imagine in your work too, you're working with people that's not their challenge. They could be in a job, they could be in a position and maybe wanting to achieve a higher level within that role. Maybe they're in an agency and work on competitive pitching or against other agencies, these challenges can kind of come even when you are in a job, but there's always this kind of mountain to climb. Are you seeing other scenarios a lot like that too for creatives, that there's always some sort of other challenge?
There's always another mountain to climb. I mean, the interesting thing about being, and I think, as Joanna said, especially creatives, because we're really good at imagining stuff, which also, by the way, makes that voice of doubt really special. Like, what if you die? You're like, oh. None of us get out of here alive, but
I do sooner than expected.
Right. In a very bad way. So the mountain metaphor is great, right? Because you can imagine your life up until wherever you are now, 20s, 30s, 40s, and later. I work with people. I've got people in my group in their 60s, and all the way through there. So you're climbing the next hill ahead of you always, and that might just be, okay, I want to see if I can get that job and do that job. It might be something deeper about yourself. I want to see if I can create more time and space for myself. I want to do that for it can be in any aspect of the life wheel, so to speak. And the thing is, whenever we get to that mountain peak, hill, whatever, okay, now we can actually see the next one. Now we don't have a mountain in our way, and we're like, oh, there's another one over there. That's the next thing I'd like to do. I just had a call with someone who's 73, has run 2 7-figure businesses, really interesting person, and is having this question about like, what is that next thing? You look at her life and say, well, you've done everything. Why don't you just chill? But that's not how humans work, and definitely not how creatives work. So we're always kind of looking ahead. The downside of that is that we're, there's a part of ourselves that's literally never satisfied, right? Because we're always working towards something. That's why, when you said at the beginning, like, if I can only get this, then I will be happy. Happiness is the process, and not the things that you have or things that you did. So I like that mountain metaphor a lot, because it's a good visual about how we kind of move through life. And, ideally you're moving up and the next mountain's bigger. Sometimes, like I kind of felt like I was like, all right, I'm going to kind of leave that mountain behind, go start over on this other range, I'm going to go back to school, back to training, whatever. But I was excited about moving in that direction, because I could kind of see from my perspective what I wanted to do. And I got excited about the process of doing that. Not I have to go to school. I have to do a year of work. I have to do, I have to get my hours. I have to do all this stuff, but I get to.
Yep.
I get to.
I get to. Yeah. I get to.
I love that.
That's a good one.
I love that.